Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Nine Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. I am sure majority of you might have seen the videos circulating around as of last week. Gingers are black and all that. Sincerely speaking, I actually did not want to bring the full video here, but maybe you are just going to get a few. But I don't know who started that trend, and I do not care to know who started the trend because that person must really be going. I don't know what he or she's small that made him or her to say that gingers are black. They are not black. Just like 10 Irish that they are black. And why is it that black people want to invite everybody to the cookout? It's crazy how we complain that black people do not have ally, but you all are so quick to say, like when somebody says something about black people, like, yeah, you are invited to the cookout. Sometimes when I see that in the comment section, I am like, no one is actually invited to the cookout. Yeah, let them stay in their space. Stay in your space. It's time to mark your territory. It's time to know who is for you and who is not for you. Not just tiny thing, you are invited to the cookout. And who is going to do the cookout? You know? Now let me ask you, how did gingers become black? Now let me see. Black people are, no matter how light skinned you are, when you are a black person, it's so easy to identify. When you are red-headed, it's so easy to identify that you are this, but you are black. Well, how do you tell a white man that he or she is black? You all really be so funny on this app. Let's get it.
I can't stand when y'all say the problem in our community is all these podcasts, all these men on podcasts and not going out here and getting real jobs and being plumbers. Y'all sound ridiculous when y'all say that. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you because it's not that we have all these men on podcast mics. It's the fact that we're shining a light on the wrong microphones. Do y'all know that creativity and intellectualism go hand in hand? The problem isn't that we have men on podcasts, it's the fact that y'all keep on putting these men and saying stupid stuff out their mouth and shining a light on them in the black community. All right, think about it like this, right? We got AG, right? We got Justin Scott, we got Deontay Kyle, right? And all of these people speaking all of these real thoughts, right? And all of the intellectuals are listening and they're agreeing, and we're just creating this big, large echo chamber, and we all agreeing with each other that we need change in our community, right? But the people who actually need to hear it and hear that we need to make the change are not the ones that this reaching. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we can go to any black community in America, go down to the hood, go around the way and talk to the little kids. Do you think that these little kids is listening to the Grits and Eggs podcast? Like, be for real. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying anything against Deontay Kyle, but we just have to breed more creativity and bring people together more because y'all not really shining a light on these people the way that y'all say that you are. Because in any type of revolution, whether it's a black revolution or a world history revolution, creativity breeds intellectualism. Every single revolutionary. Do you ever think that back in the day, every time you had an engineer or a carpenter or a craftsman, they also was a philosopher. They also painted. They also was a sculptor. They also wrote plays. They also was writing literature. Like, all of these things go hand in hand. That's why when we were growing up as young black boys, my mom made me watch The Color Purple, and that didn't stick with me. You know what stick with me? They made us hate ourselves and love their wealth. Now shawty's hollering where the ball is at. And the white man get paid off for all of that. That's what stuck with me. Not what they was talking about in my history class. Not what my mom made me watch on The Color Purple. But when George Bush went up there and said, Kanye went up there and said, George Bush hates black people. That's what stuck with me. That's what made me start thinking. As a young black boy, that turned me into a little bit of a thinker. And all we doing, instead of saying, oh, we need more creatives, y'all are coming up on this app every single day and saying, oh, y'all need to stop being rappers. Y'all need to stop trying to make music. Y'all need to stop trying to make podcasts. Y'all need to stop talking about history. Y'all need to stop talking about politics. Y'all need to stop being artsy people. Like, the attack on just anime alone. It's a little black boy somewhere creating the next Boondocks, which will be informative to little black boys everywhere. But no, they're telling him, oh, stop that. You need to be a plumber, be a real black man. You need to work 12 to 16 hours a day to take care of your family and provide for your family to be a real man. You need to go to war. Go build a house. Go build a house, little black boy. Stop all of that creativity. Shut it down. Can we name a time in history that being a handyman created a pioneer for the community? No. Can we name a family that just working 12 to 16 hours a day as a man and not catering to your woman and not being romantic to your woman and not actually catering to her needs and your family's needs and helping out around the house and helping your kids out with the homework and going to your kids' games and actually pushing your son or pushing your daughter to do something greater with themselves and being present in their lives. But working 12 to 16 hours a day would actually fix our community, because men need to go back to being men. And meanwhile, we got an administration in office that actually wants to do this. They want to kill intellectualism. They actually want to debunk all our history. They actually want to take all the dark parts of our history and erase it from our memories, right? They want to go into Harvard. They want to go into Ivy League schools. They want to go into public school systems and say, if you're promoting wokeism, which just means black history or Hispanic history or any type of history that's not that one group's history, then we're going to cut your federal funding. I wonder why they're doing. How many times in history did they try to change our languages so they're not able to communicate? We're not able to communicate with each other, right? Once we're not able to communicate, we don't know our history. We don't know our glory. We don't know our strengths. We don't know our power, right? We don't know that we used to be able to do these things through our community and working together, but we can't work together because we're not speaking the same language. And it's like the Tower of Babel is just a symbolism that's just repeating itself over and over and over and over. So yeah, erase their history. Make them think that they've never been anything and they would never be anything. Actually, make them think that the only thing that they can ever be is oppressed. Make them victimize each other. Make them actually trauma bond with each other. Yeah, make them think that they're depleted. Black fatigue them, right? And then go out here and say, oh, okay, since the Irish went through a little bit, then, oh, Irish people are black. That's interesting. Because I never heard a Jewish person tell a Japanese person, yeah, you're Jewish. Give them the Zeus Network. I've never heard a Jewish person say, oh, why do we need to know who Anne Frank is? We don't care about Anne Frank. But we got black women on this app talking about why do we care about Emmett Till? We don't need to know about Emmett Till. Meanwhile, all the billionaires are linking up with the intellectuals, and they're creating like this technocrat system, like the same technocracy that happened in Canada after WW2 that was modeling after 1930s Germany, right? The fascism is just a replay of itself, but when we don't know our history, then we don't know what's coming to us, right? But if we try to look back in Canada when they had that technocrat society on an uprise, right? And it was Elon's grandfather, by the way. And Elon's grandfather moved to South Africa, and the South African refugees are coming here because they created apartheid South Africa. Now they feel like victims and they feel like they're refugees to America now. But anyway, if we look at history and we look at Canada at that time period, right? They were naming their kids weird stuff like A112, or they were changing their names to T3456, right? And if you look at Elon's kid name, it's kind of interesting. But back to the attack on creativity, because creativity, it breeds the deeper thought process. That's why they don't want us to express ourselves. That's why they don't want these certain communities to be expression. They want us to be expressionless. They want us to be gray. They want us to be soldiers of their greater agenda, right? Because God forbid we create something like X-Men, right? If we ever look at X-Men, one of them is Malcolm X and the other one is Martin Luther King. But we all turn into deeper thinkers every time we have different creators. Now, am I saying that we need to idolize these creators? No. If J. Cole came out as an abuser, I'm just going to say, yeah, he probably a weirdo. I hope it's not true. But I'm not going to sit up here and defend that man tooth and nail. This is crazy. Like, even though Kanye's a weirdo, he still helped me as being a deeper thinker as a young black boy. You can't never take that away from me. As a young black boy, I never thought about a lot of things until listening to Kanye West. And once I started listening to Kanye, my eyes opened. So for us to continue to tell little black boys that you need to be plumbers, you need to be handymen, you need to be craftsmen, you need to be carpenters, like, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but every single revolution had a carpenter that also was a philosopher, that also was a painter, that also was a sculptor, that also had some type of creative outlook, and they expressed their intellectualism through art. And the more and more that y'all suppress our creativity in these young black boys and girls, the more and more that y'all are fighting against our own people. I just don't understand why every time I date a woman, I have to ask them this one question, because they continue to say, if you don't have enough money to provide for a whole family, then work harder. A woman should not have to do anything in the household. And I asked them this question every single time. Would you rather an intellectual man with a PhD that decided to be a principal at a local school and make $90,000 a year so he can help his community, and he's going to be present in the house so he can have a healthy relationship with his wife and a healthy relationship with his children, help his children with their schoolwork, be there for them through their violin recitals, through their cheerleading competitions, for their football games, or whatever it may be, right? Or would you rather uneducated person who makes $300,000 to $400,000 or even $1 million a year off of unethical practices. Most likely it's off of unethical practices because a lot of times to make a lot of money is not being intellectual, right? So would you rather that second person that's making 300, 400, or even $1 million a year and uneducated with unethical practices that's most likely on work trips all the time and not present in the home, not there with you in the house, not romantic to you, and not there for your kids, not being a man in your children's life at all. So they're pretty much being raised by a single mom. Or would you rather that man who's an intellectual, who's a principal at the local high school, making a difference in the community, and he's vetting the people that your kids hang out with. He's actually present in the community. He's present with your children's lives, and he's present for you as a woman. Which one would you want? And they fight themselves to answer this question. They're like, well, what is the well? Well, what? Well, what? Says a lot. But it's always eat the rich, right? These billionaires are evil. Eat the rich. Capitalistic societies don't work. But then when you put the community, the socialism, the community, it takes a village, right? When you put the community right in front of their face and you give them a choice, what are they going to choose? It's eating us alive. We are begging you guys to open your eyes and you just won't do it. They literally showed you last month that Birkin bag cost $12 to make and you still on this app telling me it's an investment. You all are eating yourselves alive. You all are eating yourselves alive. You are so indoctrinated by this capitalistic society that you will choose to eat yourself alive rather than to have a community. This is a cult worse than MAGA. For all y'all black folk on this app always hooting and hollering about this imaginary cookout that y'all keep on inviting people to, average people is not black. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the serious guy in this situation, but they is about to suspend habeas corpus. So that means that they can just come and detain you and you don't even have to do process the right to defend yourself in the court of law. So when y'all at this imaginary cookout with all these redheads eating all of that damn Irish beer battered fish and whatever the fuck y'all over there eating, when they come and picking people up, who you think they're gonna come pick up? Who you think they picking up? Me or the redheads? You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say I hate to be Mr. Serious, but some of y'all start pissing me off when y'all keep on saying, oh, well, redhead's black, so-and-so black, so-and-so black. I got very much respect for Irish people and their history and their heritage, and I got a lot of respect for Southern Italians and their history and their heritage, but at the end of the day, we is not the same. Stop comparing our struggles as black people and our oppression as black people to other people. We is different. We is not the same. They don't look at us. They don't look at us the same. We don't look the same to them. Stop trying to invite everybody to this imaginary cookout. Y'all sound like some losers. Why do y'all always want white people to be so fucking close to you? You be pissing me off. You sound desperate. All the little TikTok videos, the little jokes was funny or whatever, but every time y'all start to key, y'all start to key another race of people into our spaces that do not belong over here, and they turn on us every single time. The chief of staff, Stephen Miller, went up there and said, we may suspend habeas corpus, and y'all over here keying. You see what I'm saying? I hate to be the mad, angry dude all the time, but y'all don't even be seeing what's going on. Y'all gonna end up in an El Salvadorian prison before y'all ever end up. You think these gingers is gonna let you hide in their basement? Because they not gonna get detained. Trust me. When those Irish people came over from Ireland to the Americas, they let them in. They gave them farms. We ain't get our 40 acres yet. So I don't think that we got the same experience. That's all I'm saying. They just went and sent a charter plane over to South Africa to bring up some people from who knows what part of Europe, but they participated in apartheid South Africa, and now they're playing victim over in South Africa and saying that their people are being oppressed as white people that went over there for apartheid South Africa. They're flying them in. They don't care if they're from Ireland or the UK or Germany. They don't care. They're white. You're not. Stop doing that.
This is all I got from this video, and I support everything he said, 100%. Stop inviting everybody. I mean, like the Irish, I don't even know who started that trend. I am sure majority of you might have seen it, like the gingers are black or whatever they call that. I refuse to bring that video here because, like, at first I was like, what are you people saying? And some of them were like, oh, I woke up to that amazing, different stories and the rest of it. Like, how? How are gingers black? Like, are you not seeing the difference? Or are you black? Who actually started that? That is not true. They are not black. And enough of black people always wanting to bring everybody to the cookout. Like, I don't know how to say this, but everybody cannot be your friend. I am not saying you cannot, but everybody cannot be your friend. Everybody cannot be where you are. I mean, like, there should be room for you and your community. Not all the time. You want to bring people that do not want you in their community. So what's the essence of doing that? Right? So enough of, like, wanting everybody to be part, like, oh, yeah, we all are community, or you are invited to the cookout. Enough of all that BS, because last I checked, I rarely see anybody invite black people to cookout, their own cookout and all that. But I know they don't have cookout. Cookout is for black people. Well, I think it's time you all stop doing all that. This is my thought. And I know my 92% of black people do not do that, and 80% of black men do not do that. But if you are doing that, I think you should stop, because there is no need bringing everybody to the community. I think this is just a very great time for black people to, like, get to understand themselves and get to build themselves more. Not time to bring people in, or time to say, what ginger are you ginger in? There are no black. Irish are not black people. When you see a black person, even if she is ginger, you will know. Or even if she's a redhead, or you will know who is who and who is not. You are saying a pure white man, and you are saying he's a black man. And you are like, how? How is that person a black man? And like when he touched about people doing podcasts, and also telling people to go and get plumber job and all that. I don't have anything to say there, because, like, people choose what they want to be and how they want to live their life and all that. But one thing I do not support are the people, those ones that buy podcast equipment and start saying what I don't understand about their own community. They shouldn't even they are not content creators. They are grifters. That is what I call them. Right? So if you are part of those people that all you want to do is buy podcast equipment and going to talk down on black people, no, I am not supporting you and all that. So, and yeah, I understand where he was coming from when it comes to women that would rather, I didn't know. I think this is now, I don't know how to explain this, but do not be offended if it is your life and all that. People choose what they want. I think we are in an era where people would rather go with money than go with somebody that has something to offer. This is how it is as it stands. Not everybody, but the way the generation, like the upcoming generations and all that, everybody wants money. And not just money. I think it's like even more, people want free money. They just do not want to work. See, this free money is not for everybody. For some people, it work for them. And that is like 2% of humans on earth. Some people, you really have to work. And if you do not work, you are going to be poor. So choose what you want to do. You want to wait for people to give you, or you are waiting to marry a rich man. The one you don't know if he's going to, man, see, all I can tell anybody is that make sure you are up for yourself. And the ones that, like he said, and that is actually true. You see somebody that bought Birkin's bag, they buy it expensive. But now you all are seeing how much Birkin's bag are worth from China, right? And some people are still justifying that no, Birkin's is an investment, Bye for now.